Hello and welcome. This is DD India. I'm Gautam Roy and it's time now to get you the day's top 100 latest developments with Express News. Let's get to it. A Delhi court on Friday sent Tahawwur Rana to 18 days of National Investigation Agency's custody just hours after he was extradited from the US. In a statement, the NIA said that the extradition finally came through after Rana's various litigations and appeals were rejected in US courts. America's Department of Justice issued a statement after 26/11 terror attacks accused Tahawwur Rana was extradited to India from the US. The US DOJ said that Rana's extradition is a critical step towards seeking justice for the 6 Americans and scores of other victims who were killed in the heinous attacks. The US State Department reiterated its commitment to combating global terrorism in collaboration with India after the US extradited Tahawwur Rana. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated and laid the foundation stones for 44 projects worth around $450 million covering sectors like roads, power, education and sports in Uttar Pradesh's Varanasi. The PM also handed out Ayushman Bharat cards to elderly citizens, distributed GI certificates and transferred 106 crore Indian rupees to dairy farmers. Addressing the gathering, the PM said that Kashi has now become a symbol of both heritage and modernity. Taking a dig at the previous government, Prime Minister Modi reaffirmed the present government's inclusive approach, saying that today the government is working on the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. The PM also said that the government is in constant pursuit of providing growth opportunities to the youth of Kashi in the field of sports and is trying to secure the opportunity to host the 2036 Olympic Games. Prime Minister Modi also visited the Anandpur Dham of Isagar Tehsil in Madhya Pradesh. He also visited and offered prayers at Guruji Maharaj Temple. The visit of the Prime Minister is in line with his commitment to furthering the cultural and spiritual heritage of India. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar attended the India-Italy Business and Technology Forum in New Delhi today. Addressing the event, the minister said that India is working closely with like-minded partners and will continue to build trusted partnerships to address economic issues. The minister also pointed out the importance of connecting Italy's role in the Mediterranean with India's influence in the Indo-Pacific for mutual trade benefit. India's Commerce Minister also attended the event. Speaking on 90 days relief on US tariffs, Piyush Goyal said that India-US trade talks are progressing well and keeping India first. Speaking at the 9th edition of the Carnegie Global Tech Summit in New Delhi, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar called for changing the nuclear laws to get investments while stressing that startup culture in India is increasing. Global Technology Summit is India's flagship dialogue on geotechnology, co-hosted by Carnegie India and the Ministry of External Affairs. The theme of the event is Sambhavana or Possibilities. Dr. Jaishankar also discussed how the US has changed its approach to the world in the past year, and apart from the US, China has also advanced in the past year. Nominations for the Padma Awards 2026 to be announced on Republic Day are open till the 31st of July. The Padma Awards, which include Padma Bhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri, are among India's highest civilian honours. Indian equity indices ended on a strong note with Nifty above 22,800 on Friday. At close, the Sensex was up 1,310 points, reaching 75,157, and the Nifty was up 429 points to stand at 22,829. The Indian rupee also ended higher at 86.05 per dollar on Friday. Gold prices surged to an all-time high of 93,675 per 10 grams on Friday on the multi-commodity exchange, tracking strong global trends. Silver prices also rose to stand at 93,205 per kg on the MCX on Friday. Global crude oil prices were stable on Friday but on track for their second weekly loss in a row against a backdrop of investor concerns over the burgeoning trade war between the US and China. And official data showed on Friday that Britain's economy returned to growth with a strong expansion of 0.5% in February, in a rare piece of good news for the Labour government as it grapples with unpredictable US tariffs. Finance Minister Rachel Reeves called the data encouraging, but there was a little reaction in sterling to surprise growth. European stock markets fell on Friday, reversing gains after China retaliated against massive US tariffs with its own 125% duties on goods from the US. The American dollar plunged on Friday to its lowest level against the euro since February 2022 as a trade war between the United States and China deepened, adding to recession fears. Apple's latest iPhone models, including the iPhone 16, are once again available for purchase in Indonesia after a month-long ban was lifted. The ban was due to Apple's non-compliance with a local content requirement that mandates 40% of smartphone components be sourced from within Indonesia. China increased its tariffs on US imports to 125% from 84%, escalating a trade war that could disrupt global trade and trigger an economic meltdown. China's move comes after US President Donald Trump on Thursday ramped up pressure on the country by lifting tariffs to 145%, even as he announced a 90-day tariff reprieve on most trading partners. At a press open cabinet meet, US President Trump said that he would love to get a deal with China to end an escalating trade war. Donald Trump also predicted that there would be a transition cost and transition problems while discussing his tariff policies during a cabinet meeting. He also claimed that the US was raking in billions of dollars each day as a result of his protectionist policies. The World Trade Organization on Wednesday estimated the US-China trade tensions could cut trade of goods between the two nations by as much as 80%. The next round of US-Ukraine talks over the minerals deal will begin in Washington on Friday to align both nations on long-term investment mechanisms reflecting shared strategic interests. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in Russia and is expected to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin later today after US President Donald Trump's efforts to broker a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. During his visit, Witkoff met Russian President's investment envoy Dmitriev in St. Petersburg on Friday. A draft strategy for the development of the Russian Navy until 2050 has been prepared and will be presented to President Putin on Friday ahead of his meeting with Trump's envoy Witkoff. The United Kingdom is considering deploying troops to Ukraine for 5 years under plans being discussed by allies. Under the plan, a European-led force would be dispatched to Ukraine to initially deter Russia from breaching any settlement. During the Ukraine Defense Contract Group meeting in Brussels, NATO allies pledged over $23.8 billion in new military aid to Ukraine on Friday. Ukraine expresses its gratitude over the decision. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Friday that prisoner swaps between Russia and the US helped to cement trust between the two countries at a time when they are trying to rebuild their ties. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in the first visit by a Pentagon chief to Panama in decades, said he sees the canal as key terrain that Panama would secure together with the US and not with China. Panama has said that the United States recognized its sovereignty over the Panama Canal despite tough rhetoric from Washington, D.C. Accusing Mexico of breaking an 81-year-old treaty and stealing the water from Texas farmers, Donald Trump threatened Mexico with sanctions and tariffs in a dispute over water sharing between the two countries. Responding to accusations, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said that it has been complying with the treaty to the extent water is available amid 3 years of drought. Mexico has sent a proposal to US officials to address the water supply to Texas. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the United States will hold direct talks with Iran on Saturday to discuss Iran's nuclear program. The talks between U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and a senior Iranian leader are scheduled for Saturday in Oman. A tourist helicopter plummeted upside down into New York City's Hudson River on Thursday, killing all 6 people on board, including a Spanish family with 3 children and the pilot. The death toll in the Dominican Republic roof collapse incident has risen to 221 on Thursday after recovery efforts wrapped up in the capital. A team of national and international experts have been formed to clarify the causes of the event. An Istanbul court on Friday ordered the release of 59 young demonstrators arrested for taking part in Turkey's most widespread unrest against opposition mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu's arrest. It is in addition to 107 students released on Thursday. And we're taking a quick break at this point in DD India. We have Express News to carry on further. Stay tuned.
Why is there such an angst over historical characters? The portrayal of India's history.
Our history is still not Bharat's history. The history, which we were taught, which we read, is like the history of, the invaders.
If you try to consistently erase the truth and lie about the truth and consistently spread falsehoods, they were so prejudiced and so hell-bent on pushing their own ideological political agenda.
A historian is first Marxist or first communist, and then he behaves like a historian.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's take Express News forward. In order to provide help to Myanmar's worst hit city, Indian Army has deployed robo mules and nano drones for search and rescue operations as part of Operation Brahma. Northern China is bracing for typhoon-like gales this weekend, with the Chinese capital of Beijing postponing major sporting events, closing parks, suspending train services and warning its 22 million residents against non-essential travel. Beijing has postponed a half marathon originally scheduled for Sunday, in which humanoid robots will race alongside human runners due to forecasts of very strong winds for this weekend. Heavy snow is also expected to blanket parts of Chinese region of Inner Mongolia as well as while southern China could be hit by the most intense hailstorms so far this year. Storms, heavy rain and lightning have turned disastrous in the eastern Indian state of Bihar. According to authorities, it has claimed the lives of at least 80 across the state. According to the Bihar Weather Service Center, rain is likely over the next 48 hours in the northern and northeastern regions of the state. Disaster Management Departments also issued advisories to all districts. While in North India's Uttar Pradesh, at least 22 people, including 5 women, lost their lives in rain-related incidents. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has announced an ex gratia of 4 lakh rupees to the family of the deceased. The Indian Met Department has said that there will be a fall in the maximum temperature by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius over the northwestern India during the next 3 days, and a gradual rise by 2 to 4 degrees Celsius thereafter during the subsequent 4 days. Severe floods in Bolivia have highlighted concerns about rising cases of contagious and water-related diseases. A new exhibition, Paris's Jeu de Paume Museum, titled The World According to AI, showcases how artists are responding to the growing presence of artificial intelligence. Featuring around 50 works, that is photos, sculptures and short films, many created with the help of AI, the show explores how this technology is reshaping our view of reality. A spellbinding exhibition of Cartier jewels is opening in London, tracing the history of the luxury French design house, beloved by the rich and famous, from Queen Elizabeth II to Rihanna. The exhibition's curators have brought together rare pieces from museums around the world, including from private collections such as items belonging to King Charles III and Morocco's Prince Albert. 54-year-old Chizuko Kimura became this year the first female sushi chef in the world to be recognized by the Michelin Guide for her Sushi Shuni restaurant located in the heart of Montmartre, Paris. Bahrain International Airport unveiled on Thursday a stained glass art installation entitled Concordia, created by renowned British artist Sir Brian Clark. The Concordia consists of 127 panels and was crafted over 2.5 years and installed in 296 hours, according to its senior project manager Fatima Noor. The world's oldest gorilla, Fatu, is celebrating her 68th birthday at the Berlin Zoo on Friday. According to Berlin Zoo, western lowland gorillas are an endangered species. A Sotheby's Dubai exhibit showcased a collection of Islamic arms and armors assembled by scholar and collector Philippe Giles René Miselier over approximately 5 decades. The centerpiece of the exhibition was the world capturer sword that belonged to Emperor Shah Jahan, the 5th Mughal emperor. The UK's National Mapping Service created one of the most ambitious builds ever undertaken in the popular video game Minecraft, using 100 billion blocks to create an accurate map of Great Britain. Inspired by the release of a Minecraft movie, Ordnance Survey is now inviting players to download their local areas and build or demolish anything they want. An agricultural student in Mongolia has launched Zoo Coffee and Lounge that provides unique service concept that combines a zoo-like setting with a cafe experience. The lounge aims to provide a tranquil atmosphere where customers can unwind and connect with nature while enjoying hot tea and cold drinks. Prada has struck a deal to buy smaller rival Versace from Capri Holdings in a move to unite two of the biggest names in Italian fashion. The deal has an enterprise value of 1.375 billion USD as Prada is seeking to expand, having defied a slowdown in luxury demand, while Versace has been operating at a loss. The official lineup for the 78th edition of the Cannes Film Festival was announced on Thursday. The festival kicks off on the 13th of May and runs through to the 24th. Some of the most anticipated films to be screened at Cannes this year include Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the concluding chapter of Tom Cruise's action-packed franchise, Wes Anderson's The Phoenician Scheme, Richard Linklater's New Wig, and Ari Aster's Eddington, among others. Legendary filmmaker Spike Lee announced that his latest crime thriller film, Highest to Lowest, will debut in out-of-competition section at this year's Cannes Film Festival. Scarlett Johansson and Harris Dickinson will both make their directorial debuts at this year's Cannes Film Festival. Johansson will present her first feature titled Eleanor the Great, whereas Dickinson will debut his feature film titled Urchin. Indian cinema also gets a proud moment as Indian film Homebound has been officially selected for the Uncertain Brigade section at the 78th Cannes Film Festival. The much-anticipated British television series Black Mirror returns to Netflix on Thursday for a 7th season. Actress Amy Peets will join the cast of Elle, an upcoming Amazon Prime Video series that serves as the prequel to Reese Witherspoon's comedy movie Legally Blonde. The Righteous Gemstones actor Tori Cavallero is set to appear in a new psychological thriller titled The Silence Game. Pop star Katy Perry and journalists Gayle King and Lauren Sanchez will undergo final preparations this weekend before blasting off into space on a Blue Origin rocket on Monday. Sports now in the Indian Premier League, Chennai Super Kings aim to bounce back from consecutive losses as they host Kolkata Knight Riders at Chepauk on Friday. KL Rahul scored a measured 93 not out to guide Delhi Capitals to a 6-wicket win against Royal Challengers Bengaluru in IPL on Thursday night. Bangladesh commenced their ICC Women's Cricket World Cup qualifiers 2025 journey in style, securing a decisive 178-run victory over Thailand. The Indian women's hockey team is all set to tour Australia for a 5-match series scheduled from the 26th of April to the 4th of May. India concluded their International Shooting Sport Federation World Cup campaign with a total of 8 medals, including 4 gold medals. Dhruv Kapila and Tanisha Krasto lost in straight games in the mixed doubles quarterfinals of the Badminton Asia Championships in China. In tennis, the Indian team secured a 2-1 victory against Hong Kong in the Billie Jean King Cup Asia Oceania Group 1. Carlos Alcaraz cruised into the Monte Carlo Masters qualifiers for the first time on Thursday with a straight sets win over Daniel Almayer. Magnus Carlsen booked his spot in the Paris Freestyle Chess Grand Slam semi-final after beating Uzbekistan's Nodirbek Abdusattorov. Hikaru Nakamura and Vincent Kiemer also advanced to the semi-finals of the tournament after their respective wins. Meanwhile, India's reigning world chess champion Gukesh faced elimination after losing to Hungary's Richard Rapport. Esteemed Dutch soccer coach Leo Beenhakker, renowned for his successful stints with top European clubs and national teams, passed away at the age of 82. Star forward Mohamed Salah has signed a new contract to extend his 8-year stay at Liverpool. Ryan Cherki earned Lyon a dramatic 2-2 draw with Manchester United in the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final. And Australian sprinting prodigy Good ran the 100 metres in a wind-assisted 9.99 seconds twice in Perth on Thursday. And that wraps up Express News for now, but for all the latest, keep watching DD India.